Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing well. I'm also okay. Welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. Today, I want to share with you 5 reasons why I believe Raila Odinga is likely to become the next AUC chairperson. If that is a subject you are keen on, I urge you to stay tuned. And if you're watching for the first time, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss subsequent videos. Otherwise, let us just jump into the subject of the day. 2 issues that I want to dispense of before we get into the 5 reasons why I believe Raila is likely to win. Number 1 is qualification of AUC chairperson. And number 2 is the electoral process. How do they elect AUC chairperson? So with the qualification, it is very simple. You should have a master's degree, preferably in law. Since none of the candidate has been rejected, we can say they meet the qualification needs, what is needed. Number 2, how do they elect a AUC chairperson? Very simple. Get at least 35 heads of state to back your bid. For you to be AUC chairperson, you must get 35 votes or more. You must get 2/3 of the 54 member states to back your candidature. So let me explain how the voting works. The voting is done in Addis Ababa, and the heads of state cast their votes in a secret ballot. If one of the candidates gets 35 votes or more, the election ends there. You have a winner. If neither the candidates achieve 2/3, then they ask the runners-up to step down, leaving only one candidate to go to the next round of voting. Voting is done whether you are one candidate. There is no getting elected unopposed, because you must get the mandate. You must get 35 votes or more from the heads of state, because remember, like I said, the African Union Commission chair is the CEO of that organization. He is the one who literally runs the organization, and so he needs that mandate. Whether he's a single candidate, he will still have to be voted for, and he must get the support of at least 35. That is 2/3 of the presidents or heads of states. Now that we have dispensed with the qualification and how the voting process works, let me share with you 5 reasons why I believe Raila Odinga is likely to emerge the winner. Now, this is not like an absolute prediction. That is why I've used the word likely. In estimating polls, you don't do absolutes. You don't say, I am 100% sure that Raila Odinga is going to win. However, there are indicators that can show you a candidate who is likely to win, and that is what I want to share with you. This is what we need to know. There are 4 candidates going for the AUC chair position. Number 1 is Anil Gayan, who is the former Foreign Affairs Minister for Mauritius. Then you have Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, who is the Foreign Affairs Minister of Djibouti. Then you have Raila Odinga from Kenya, who is a former prime minister and also a senior politician in the country, and also a former AU representative for infrastructure. And lastly, we have Richard Randrio-Mandrato, who is the Foreign Affairs Minister, Madagascar. Of the candidates we have, ladies and gentlemen, 2 are considered to be the front runner and to be the front runners. That is Raila Odinga of Kenya and Mahmoud Ali Yusuf of Djibouti. So let us focus on the 2. Let me share with you why Raila is likely to defeat Mahmoud. Now that we are comparing Raila Odinga of Kenya and Mahmoud Ali Yusuf of Djibouti, there is something I need to also remind you. This is not the first time Djibouti is trying to jinx things for Kenya. Djibouti in 2017, when Amina Mohammed was going for this particular seat, Djibouti, knowing very well that this is a matter of regional balance, decided to field a candidate for the position of the deputy chairperson, knowing very well that was really going to mess things for Kenyans, because other regions argued this way. There is no way we can give Kenya the chairperson and give Djibouti the deputy chairperson. So they had to sacrifice one. And since nobody was willing to, and since Djibouti was not willing to surrender, we lost both. The chairpersonship went to Chad, and the deputy chairperson went to South Africa. Djibouti lost. That is not all. In 2020, when Kenya had lobbied very well, and AU as a whole backed Kenya for the seat at the UN Security Council, guess what? Even though AU, that body, had already settled on Kenya, Djibouti decided to go for the same seat. Yes, I'm not kidding. So this is not the first rodeo. It's not the first time we are dealing with Djibouti. And by the way, on the issue of the UN seat, Djibouti lost to Kenya. So Djibouti somehow has made it their business to make life difficult for Kenya at the international stage. Whatever their reasons are, I don't understand. But it's very obvious that if Kenya was going to field a candidate, Djibouti was going to do one. And so Djibouti has done exactly that. They have a candidate who is competing with Raila Odinga, or every attempt to tell Djibouti to stand down the way we've talked to others, Djibouti has refused. So it's okay. We are going to this race. So what gives Raila a upper hand? Number one, Raila is getting support from Islamic states. This is very important because the Djibouti, Mahmoud from Djibouti, is depending on two voting blocks, two very important voting blocks. Number one is depending on the Islamic State. Africa has 18 countries that are considered Islamic states. And they are considered so because over 50% of the population in those countries are Muslims. And so Djibouti, being an Islamic state, was depending on the support based on religion. And very interesting, Raila Odinga, as of now, has support from some members of the Islamic State. I told you, we have 18 members of the Islamic State. And Raila has the support of Algeria, of Senegal, of Somalia, and you never know, he may even get the support of Chad. We are already raiding the Islamic State voting bloc. We already have 4, and we may have more. The second voting bloc, the second reason why Raila is likely to win, is because his opponent depends on the second voting bloc called the Francophones. Francophones are African countries that were colonized by France, and for that reason, French is an official language in that country. Like Kenya is an Anglophone, colonized by British, and English is an official language. So in those Francophone countries, we have 22 of them. In those Francophone countries, which Djibouti depended on, Djibouti believed that if they were to start with Islamic states, they have at least 18. If they were to get the Francophone, they were starting with at least 22. So here is the funny thing. Those Francophone, you have Burundi there, you have Rwanda there, you have Congo there, you have DRC in those countries, in the Francophones. And these Francophones, ladies and gentlemen, okay, Algeria is a member of the so-called Francophone. And these countries, ladies and gentlemen, are already supporting us, are already supporting Raila. So even in the Francophone voting bloc, Raila has support already from the Francophone voting bloc. So he has support in the, if you are looking at it from the Islamic states, Raila has support. If you are looking at it from Francophones, Raila has support. Another thing, another reason, reason number 3, in my opinion, is that the vote usually comes down to the economic regions like SADC, ECOWAS, the Maghrebs, etc. And if you compared what Raila already has behind him, he has SADC, okay? He has the East Africa Community, is likely to have COMESA, and ECOWAS, Raila has a lot of influence there, thanks to his friendship with Olusegun. So, even if it was a matter of regional blocks, Raila already has more behind him compared to Mahmoud of Djibouti. And number 4, his network. Raila Odinga, he's been a prime minister, literally a co-president. And as we speak, Raila Odinga has friendship with presidents, the president of DRC, the president of South Africa, just to mention a few, who see him as equal. And that is why it was very easy for Raila Odinga to mingle with president, by the way, because they see him at his level. That's why it was very easy for presidents to come all over to Nairobi to endorse Raila Odinga, or even to send emissaries to Addis Ababa to endorse Raila Odinga. They see him as equal. Raila has been a representative for infrastructure in the same AU. So he met these voters, the heads of state. He has mingled with them. He knows them. So Raila's network is going to play a big role. I think he is more networked in Africa than the Djibouti counterpart. Because while the Djibouti counterpart is a foreign affairs minister, Raila Odinga was working at AU at those high levels. And also Raila Odinga has real friends, real friendship with presidents. Let me put it this way. If a president was relating with a minister for foreign affairs versus when a president is relating with somebody they feel they're equal, it's different. And these people see Raila as equal. Number 5 is the Ruto factor. Ruto does not get into any political battle that he is not sure of winning. And he gives it his all. You've seen how Ruto has transformed Raila's image internationally. He goes with Raila to China. Raila meets over 20 heads of state. He goes with Raila to US. Raila has one-on-one with over 30 heads of state. He goes with Raila to AU, where Raila meets all these heads of state. Ruto has even had official launch of Raila's bid, where heads of state from East Africa came, including their representative for those who could not make it. Right? Ruto has also even made sure that Raila has launched his bid again at Addis Ababa, at the continental stage. So when Ruto picks on an agenda, he pursues it to the logical conclusion. So believe me, the Ruto factor is going to play a lot here. And another thing that is worth noting is that Africans, the heads of state, actually trust Ruto enough that they have elected him to be the one that is in charge of transforming or reforming AU. Yes. All those presidents, they voted that Ruto is the man they trust with reforming AU. And as such, with that trust, that is why you see Ruto can convince very many heads of state, even those whom you would not think would listen to Kenya, like Algeria and maybe Senegal and etc. He's convincing them, he's wooing them to support us. So Ruto is a very influential figure in Africa as we speak now, and on the world stage also. And him being behind Raila has put Raila ahead of other candidates. So those are the reasons I believe Raila Odinga is ahead of Mahmoud. Unless something changes, Raila Odinga is likely to win, maybe in the first round with a very good margin, and become the AUC chairperson. Now, just a recap. Raila already is eating into Islamic State voting bloc. Raila already enjoys support within the Francophones. Raila has more regional blocs backing him. Raila as an individual has better reach than all these other candidates in Africa and across the world. And the Ruto factor. Ruto is extremely influential and is a go-getter and somebody who knows what he's doing. He rarely fails any political battle he takes. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please let me know in the comment section, and also drop a like and share this video with your friends. Otherwise, let us meet in the next video.